Hey guys, Josh Hatcher here for the Manlihood ManCast. Listen, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about identity and what that means for you. We're going to get into that in just a minute, but before we do, I want to tell you, listen, we've got a very limited time on a very special offer. I have written quite a few resources and I've got some big vision for this. But what I want to do is from now until Leap Day, I want to offer it to you guys, my loyal listeners, my supporters. I want to offer it to you at a discounted price. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I really want to grow Manlihood into something big and something awesome. So for that to happen, I need you on board. So this is your opportunity to invest not only in Manlihood by purchasing these resources, but also investing in yourself. Because this is good stuff. We talk about marriage. We talk about purpose. We talk about all those things. How to make a plan for making your year better. All of that. And it's all available at manlihood.com/store. So I want you to check it out. And I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. Listen, we're going to get into the heart of our podcast here in just a minute. Hey, we are back on the Manlihood ManCast. This is Josh Hatcher. Hey, listen, today we're going to talk about identity. Now, this is one of those things that I think a lot of us, we all think we know who we are. We all think we know what we're here to do. We all think that we have a good sense of our identity. But I want to challenge you a little bit, and I want you to think about this a little bit outside the box. First of all, we need to know yourself. I know you've seen the I think it was one of the Greek philosophers that said, know thyself, and that was kind of the greatest thing that there is to know. Guys, I can't tell you enough how important it is to know who you are. And I do highly recommend you taking the time to work through your purpose, mission, vision, and values, because that's going to help you know who you are and what you stand for. But when we talk about knowing yourself, especially young people, we hear the phrase find yourself a lot as we figure out who we are. I think something happens as we go through various stages of our life. We start to have little identity crises. We start to forget who we are. So I want to challenge you, no matter where it is you're at, guys, stop and think, do I know myself? Do I know who I am? And as you look at that, these are the things that you want to know. I want you to know your value. What are you worth? And don't give me the whole line like $2.26 if you add up all of the chemicals in my body. No, what are you worth? What is your value? What value do you add to those around you? What value does your life have to others, to the community, to your family? And this can be hard for some people, especially if you've grown up your whole life being told that you're worthless. Especially if you've been grown up your whole life and just felt like you weren't good at anything. And I know that a lot of guys feel this way. They might not know how to put it into words. They might not even fully understand what they're feeling, but I know they're feeling it. So you may need to get around some people who value you so that you can hear some of these things. But I'm going to tell you that you have intrinsic, inherent value in you. I believe you were created with it by somebody who loves you very much and put that value in you, but whether or not you agree with that, I can't really change your mind, but I can tell you, you know that it's true. You know that you have value. You know that you exist for a purpose. You know that you exist for a reason. And if you are questioning it, look down deep inside. What is your heart telling you? The fact that you're even questioning it tells me that you have value. So I want you to explore that, guys. I want you to really look into, what am I worth? And if you keep coming up with, I ain't worth nothing, I don't have any value, then it means that you've got some issues you need to work through. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, when you start to ask yourself the question, what is my value and what am I worth? And the only thing that comes out is I'm a worthless, ugly, nasty worm. There are some things that you need to work through, and I highly encourage you, go see a counselor, go see a therapist, go talk to a pastor, get into a support group, something. Because if you cannot see that you have value, it means that you've got some lies and some thoughts that are running around in your brain that you need to get straight, and that's okay. All right? I'm not saying that to condemn you. I think people think when I say you need to go get help that it means that I'm saying, oh, you're crazy, and that just piles on to the lack of value that you feel. No, I'm saying you have value, and if you can't see it, it's okay. Get some help. Work through it. But I can promise you that you have value. So if you're not sure where to start in identifying your value, I want you to take a piece of paper out, and I want you to start making a list of some things that you're good at. Okay? What are some things that you care about? Some things that you value? And who are some people that value you? And I know that you can come up with those. And when you start identifying those people that do value you, and if you're feeling unvalued, touch base with them. Let them know. Talk to a friend and say, I'm not really feeling any value right now. And let them speak that truth to you and listen to it. And then once you hear that truth about your value, you need to speak it to yourself until you believe it. I know I say that to you guys a lot. Speak the truth to yourself until you believe it. I get it. Work on it. Okay? So that's the first thing about truly knowing yourself and understanding your identity is knowing your value. The other thing is to know your virtue. Okay? Guys, we all have core values. We all have virtues, whether you want to admit it or not. Some of our values and virtues might not be very virtuous, but do you have virtue? Are there things that you know are right and wrong, things that you are unyielding on, things that you are unbending on because they matter? And are you doing the right thing? Are you living by what you value? Are you living by your virtues? Are you living by those things? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you believe that it is a good thing to always tell the truth, but you're being dishonest, you're not living according to your values. You're not living according to your virtues. So you're going to be in conflict with yourself, and your identity is going to suffer because you are putting on a false face and saying, I am one thing, and on the inside, I'm another. So I know that you guys know these things are true, and I know that they resonate because they resonate with me, and I know they resonate with others. Look at yourself. Be honest. Do some self-evaluation. Are you living according to your virtues and the things that you know matter? Your code, if you will, your code of conduct, your code of character. Are you living according to that? If you're not, then your identity is fractured. And the last part of this, and I put it last for a reason, it's because honestly, it is secondary. It is secondary to your identity. And these other parts of knowing your value and knowing your worth and living according to your values, and that's to be known. When you are looking at your life and you're saying, okay, who am I? And we have a craving to be known by others. We have a desire to be in relationship with others, whether that's a spouse, and we desire a spouse that we have or don't have, whether we desire to be in a relationship with someone we love, whether we want to be known by our children and loved by our children or by our friends and our community. We want these things. We want to be known. We crave it. And it is important that we work through the process of knowing who we are so that we can be known. And when we are known, we're able to know them too. We're able to really love them too. So if you want to be able to give and receive love, if you want to really be able to have relationships with people and have friendships with people, it's so important to know and understand how that hangs on your identity. But it's also important to know that it matters. Part of your identity is not only your identity as it relates to who you are on your own, but also in the way that you relate to others. That is important, and it does matter. So don't neglect it. Don't be the guy that pushes everybody away and goes off like a lone wolf on his own. That's not a virtuous thing to be a lone wolf. I'm not saying that you have to be an extrovert. I'm not saying that you have to be friends with everybody or that you have to go out of your way, but I am saying you have to have some people in your life that you can trust. And if you don't have anybody in your life that you can trust, you need to find somebody that you can trust. You have to find somebody that can know you and care about you and value you for the person that you are. And also be willing to hold you accountable when you're not living according to your virtues, right? Anyway, I hope that helps give you some perspective on identity, who we are, how it matters. I love you guys. I care about you guys. And we're going to be back in just a minute to get into our Ask a Man segment. Listen, I have really enjoyed getting questions from you guys and answering those questions here on the podcast. So if you go to manlihood.com, up in the top right, you're going to see a little button that says Ask a Man. Click it. Fill out the form. It's going to send me a message. Or you can message me or email me directly. If you've got that contact information, you have me on Facebook as Josh Hatcher, or it's mail@joshhatcher.com. Shoot me a message if you want and ask me your question. I'd love to get into it. Right now, I'm answering a lot of these on my own, but I do have some people that I want to connect with to answer some more of these in the future. We're going to be right into that segment here in just a moment on the Manlihood ManCast. Hey guys, we are back on the Manlihood ManCast here with Josh Hatcher, and this is our Ask a Man segment. Again, if you want to shoot me your question, and if I'm not, I may be the one answering a lot of these, but I know I've got some other guys that are going to be a part of this as well to answer some of these questions. But in the meantime, I'm going to answer the ones you send. So if you go to manlihood.com/askaman, or if you go to manlihood.com, it's right on the menu at the top. Click the button, fill out the form, or shoot me a message. I would love to get your questions. So this is the one that I've got right now. Politics are getting ugly in the U.S. It feels like the divide just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Is a civil war imminent? I sure hope not. I really hope that it does not come down to that. When I hear stories of the Civil War that we had in the 1860s, and I hear stories of brother against brother, literally, one brother lived north of the line, the other brother lived south of the line, and they were fighting on the battlefield against each other. Yikes. That's not what we want. What we want is we want to be able to handle this not with a civil war, but with civility. Okay? We want to be able to handle the division and handle the issues that we face in this country with civility, not war. I know that a lot of guys, let me make a couple things clear. I am, politically, I have a position. I'm going to say I lean conservative. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I am friends with guys who are, and gals who are across the spectrum when it comes to politics. Okay, I've got friends way out in the boonies into the left, and I've got friends that are way out into the boonies on the right. And I am not even saying that I'm in the middle, because I think I honestly lean more towards one side than another, but it doesn't matter. Because honestly, as we all look at our issues, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I wanted to talk about the Civil War comment, then I'm going to get into this issue. So the Civil War comment, I know a lot of my friends in the pro-Second Amendment movement are huge on getting ready for what they call a boogaloo. They're ready to fight. And I want to make something clear. Yes, I do believe the Second Amendment is about defending our country from tyranny. I do believe that it is possible that when the founders wrote it, they very much envisioned a world where someday American citizens may have to rise against a tyrannical government. That is why that law exists. I do believe that. The hope is that we never have to. And so these guys that are like really excited about it, take a chill pill and take a back seat. You do not want to murder your neighbor because he thinks differently than you. And I know you're like, that's not what we're saying at all. It is if you're saying that you're getting excited about a boogaloo. All right? So relax. Yes, feel free. Stock up the weapons just in case. If you are into that, go for it. Be prepared, because we never know when the line is going to cross from overreaching government to tyrannical government, whether it's on the right or the left. Can't even say. I don't know. So I'm not saying it's bad to be prepared for that. What I'm saying is it's bad to get excited about that, right? So, okay, I think I've addressed that Civil War. Is the Civil War imminent? I hope not. And as a person who cares about this country, as a person who cares about the people that I love on both sides of the aisle, I don't want to see that happen. In the Civil War in the 1860s, a civil war was pretty simple because you had the North and you had the South. So you had a pretty clear line. But right now, that line is not so clear. You've got people who are on on one political spectrum on one side of the street, and on the other side of the street, somebody on the opposite political spectrum. Is that what we want? Is that who we want to, how we want to be facing this? Because that's not going to be a pretty war at all. No war is pretty, but that's going to be really nasty if that's who we're fighting. So I want to make that clear. Stop getting excited about it. Is it imminent? I sure hope not. Because if the day does come when this political division leads to that, it's going to be nasty. And we don't want that. But let's get back to the politics. Yes, it's getting ugly, and the divide keeps getting deeper and deeper. But let me talk to you about that for just a minute. Do not ever, I don't care who you are, do not ever just align with a party because you like the party or you don't like the other party. I believe, honestly, that they're all crooks, for one thing. I mean, I do know a few people who actually have run for office or are running for office who aren't necessarily crooks, even if I don't agree with everything they do. There are a few good people out there, right, that are in those roles. But I do think that we've got a system now where the system keeps feeding itself with division. And the best way to win that is to stop feeding it. You know, you hear on the internet, stop feeding the trolls. Stop buying into the division, because that division is being fueled by people who are making money based on our emotional energy that we're investing into watching the news and consuming social media and everything else. There's people getting money off of advertising, selling cars and soap and razor blades to people who are emotionally invested. So take a breath and stop getting so emotionally invested into the politics that they're feeding you. And then talk to your neighbor. What I have found when I talk to people who politically align very differently than myself, when we actually talk about the issues, not the political parties, not the political figures, but about the issues, 9 times out of 10, I find that I am agreeing with the person on the other side about the problem, and we disagree about the solution. And when we can find the common ground of, we have a disagreement about this problem, how do we fix it? Then we start talking about solutions, and then we can actually compromise to fix the problem. That's not at all what's happening. I know, guys, you asked a man a question and he totally mansplained this today. Yes, politics are getting ugly. But nobody is all 100% Republican or Democrat or conservative or liberal or whatever on every issue. It's just the honest truth. We all kind of have this amalgam based on this issue or this issue and what we think about this or what we think about that. And if we stop and we really evaluate it, we'll find that really we should be not looking at this as one side versus the other, despite the crap that they're feeding you. They want it to be about one side versus the other so they can remain in power and make money. Those are the things that are happening. Stop that. Don't play the game. Let's talk about each individual issue and take our sides on the issue and the solutions and be willing to compromise on solutions to get issues taken care of. I don't know, guys. I think politics just in general is a mess, and I'm really hoping that we can learn to be better people. I think if we can learn to be better people, if we want to, forgive me for using the term here because I know some of you guys are going to cheer and some of you guys are going to jeer. I don't care. If we really want to make America great again, it starts by making Josh Hatcher great. It starts by making you, Joe Bob Smith, great. That's where it starts. Not making Washington, D.C. great. So let's be thinking about that. How can you be great? Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. If you've got a question, manlihood.com, and click the Ask a Man button and send it away. We'll see you guys next week.